And welcome in to Main Event Sports TV Live here at the palatial Tourneyville Tavern. Is going down here. First and Oak, of course, right down the street from everything that's going on in the Derby City. Rashawn Myers, William Wright, Haven Harrington here for a very, very special night. We are honoring 291, one of the great nonprofits here in the city of Louisville.
Indeed.
Of course, we love to always
Yes,
put a
indeed.
focus on what's going on good because there's not enough focus put on all the great things happening within the city. So we definitely appreciate everybody coming out. And, of course, anytime we do nonprofit showcase for that 2-hour block from 7 to 9 o'clock, all receipts, 15% of those receipts, regardless of whether folks are coming in for 291 or not, 15% of that goes back to the nonprofit organization.
Yes,
So
sir.
you there crossing the street. Come on back over
Exactly.
here. I see you.
Anybody within the sounds of my voice, come on in.
Amen.
You guys are walking down
Amen.
the street. Come on in. Come on in. But, fellas,
But hold on, before you get started, everybody here
yes,
has to have something to eat.
absolutely.
Everybody here. So I'm looking at everybody. I'm paying attention.
Hey, and I'm telling y'all right now, I'm just going to put y'all up on game. The best thing on the menu, the main event wings with the jerk Q sauce.
Bam,
Amen.
there it is.
Amen.
That is like the feature item, and I'm telling y'all, it's a mix of jerk, seasonings, and barbecue sauce. It is absolutely amazing.
Man.
It will change your life.
It will. It did. I'll say it did.
This man, Mr.
It
Right,
did.
the man to my right,
Yes,
always
it did.
gets the main event.
But no,
wings.
you didn't hear what this man said earlier. He walked in and said, a bum out on the street asked him to give him some money for a beer. He said, yeah, I'll buy you a beer, but you got to come in here and let me buy it
That's
so that
right,
it can be
that's right, exactly,
part of the
exactly.
fundraiser.
That's right.
What you do, man. Absolutely. But
Mr.
appreciate
Philanthropy over
everybody,
here.
On Facebook Live, of course, we always try to be as interactive as possible. We take questions. We have so many things going on in the world of sports. Of course, March Madness.
March Sadness.
Man,
It's not
went
March
down.
Sadness. What you mean?
It's March
My
Sadness.
bracket's still intact.
You had Louisville getting bumped in the first round?
No, I had Louisville getting bumped by Michigan State, so, it didn't hurt.
Oh, it still hurt.
Hey, I mean,
It might not have hurt your bracket, but it hurt your spirit.
Not really.
For the locals, okay, there was 4 teams from the state of Kentucky in the proceedings this year in March Madness. Unfortunately, there's only one that still stands.
There's only one left.
And that's the team down 64, the Kentucky Wildcats heading back to the Sweet 16 by the hair of their chinny chin chin.
Man.
Hey, but you know what?
They got it done, 62-56 over Wofford.
But time out, though. But,
Yes,
but
sir.
hold on. But before we start talking about the greatness that is the Kentucky Wildcats,
Yes, sir.
we have to talk about the greatness that is Murray State. And my man, John Morant, made him some money.
Oh, absolutely.
That first game of the tournament. Made him some big money.
Absolutely. I gave Kentucky that due credit because they are the only team from the state still representing the Bluegrass. So, got to give them the shout out because they did make it to the Sweet 16, even without P.J. Washington. And we'll kind of get into that later. My thoughts on that and if we will see P.J. again. But, yeah, absolutely. John Morant got only, I believe, the 8th triple-double in the history of the NCAA tournament.
And it was a very impressive triple-double as well.
Absolutely.
That young man came out to play that night. And what he did was solidify all of the hype.
Yeah.
And that's why I was so glad for him.
This man had Magic Johnson coming to the OVC tournament to check him out.
Right.
Rob Pelinka, Magic Johnson, the staff and management of the Los Angeles Lakers took a drive down to watch John Morant play in Nashville. That's huge.
Oh, it's
And
major.
you know what? Those guys really, really wanted, to see Ja make
Right.
it to the NCAA tournament. They got there, and he did
showed
not
out.
disappoint.
He
No,
showed out.
He did.
Absolutely
I mean, that's the point that I was making,
The
man.
man, I think he went up at least 2 draft spaces.
Oh, I mean, he
On
was
that-
already pretty much a consensus top 5 pick.
Right.
And right now, people are saying he's probably the
Top
number
2.
2 guy.
Yeah,
Right.
I was saying he
Right
he
behind
earned it.
behind
Yeah.
Zion. And the thing is, I had somebody ask me this morning. You all know Charles McCutcheon. He was a guest on the show before.
The genius.
He said, "So do you think he's going?" And I was like, "Well, what else would he do?" I
So you
mean,
think he's going?
well,
Going.
there would be no other thing to do but go because you can't improve your draft stock. then
That's
you-
one you got to do like Ed Love would be like, come on, son.
right.
Come on,
Right,
son.
right. So, I had a conversation also today. Some people are still kind of hung up on that whole get your education while you can type of deal. And I had to kind of, make them understand. Colleges are not going out of business, okay?
Absolutely.
You can always go get your education. Some people go back.
Well-
Some people go back to school. Some people leave school, take a break. I'm talking about people that are not athletes
Right.
and go back years later and finish
Right.
up.
Absolutely.
So athletes have that same option. They can go to school online.
Well, I mean, if you were in the position of a Ja Morant, if you're in the position of a Zion Williamson, if you're in the position of somebody like a Charles Bassey at Western Kentucky, all those guys are going to be consensus lottery picks.
Right, of course.
You gotta go.
I mean, if you're a first-round pick and you're going to get 3 years guaranteed, multi-million-dollar contract,
Of course.
you take that money.
Of course, even if you're not, I made another point. I said, imagine you graduate from high school,
Yes.
and somebody offers you a job as the vice president of UPS, making 7 figures a year. What do?
No doubt. No doubt.
You
I would
take
say
the
no.
job.
I agree with that.
I would say
You
no.
would
I
say
need,
no.
I need
I
my
believe
degree
you.
first.
Yeah, you would say no.
Yeah, whatever. I'm
Well,
out.
People, they put too much into, how necessary it is for college basketball players to get their degrees. Because if you think about it, more often than not, baseball players go straight from high school to the pros.
A lot of them.
Yes.
Golfers, tennis players,
Yes.
football players. A lot of football players leave early. Track and field. A lot of Olympic athletes.
Yes.
Very few of them go to college. So why the emphasis is put on basketball players going to college? And of course, we all know why. It's money. That's the farm.
Well, absolutely. It's about the product.
Right.
It's about what's
Colleges are
what's going on.
farm teams for the NBA.
I mean, the NCAA, for the first time in the history of the tournament, did have Zion Cam. They've
They
never
did, yeah.
had an individual player in which they had
And if I was him, if I ever did end up hitting bad later in life, I would sue them over that to get some type of money off.
Yeah,
of
that's
that.
crazy. It's like it's never happened. But no, I agree with you. But I mean, this NCAA is like a pageant and celebration of basketball. You get to see all these great players on the biggest stage.
Right.
And pretty much for the most part, Cinderella, her chariot turned back into a pumpkin at like 10:30.
Right,
She
right.
didn't even make it to midnight.
It,
No,
it never
Cinderella-
came in.
Yeah.
Cinderella came in on the tark.
This has been like one of the most predictable tournaments
So far.
in a long time. Like if you just picked all 1 seeds and you just picked like the top 3 seeds to advance, your brackets are intact.
So far, yeah.
So
Well,
far.
for the most part, yeah.
And
At this point,
we talked about it, fellas. We talked about the fact that when we discussed bubble teams and said that nobody was talking about bubble teams because it was a very, very weak bubble this year. I think that we saw that play out on the court. I mean, there's just a defined level.
there's levels to it
between
for sure.
The haves and the have-nots, and who is good this year,
Without
and who's
question.
not.
Without question.
And I think that just has a lot to do with it. I just think that the best teams are literally the best teams this year. There's
Very much so.
Oh, yeah.
parity.
You know,
Very much so.
and you saw that play out because almost in every bracket, the 1, 2, and 3 all advanced. I think except one
Yes,
bracket.
Yeah.
It is the first, no, the 1, 2, 3
In every bracket.
in every bracket
Advanced.
made it and advanced for the second time since they started seeding.
So that's
with
12 of
64
the 16 teams that are left.
Yes. Which lets you know that there was the haves and the never haves.
Right.
The only other time that ever happened was in 2009. Was the last time that you had all 1, 2, and 3 seeds advance from every region.
Well,
So that's huge.
And you had no mid-majors advance to the Sweet 16 either.
Right. Well, we would be remiss to go any further without shouting out our wonderful city here, the Derby City, who is going to be hosting the Sweet 16 and Elite 8 this coming weekend.
Yes, it's
How
going
about
down.
that?
And you know what?
How
The
about
ticket
that?
stoppers are very excited because Tennessee and Purdue, they held on. Tennessee
Yes,
did
indeed.
not get upset, even though they
They should have
tried
been.
everything they could to lose that game.
The hair of that chinny chin
to
chin.
Iowa, losing a 25-point lead. They were able to hold on, get the win. So that was huge. They held on in overtime. I don't really know what happened with them, but to Tennessee made it. Virginia, the number 1 seed in that region,
Yes,
made
indeed.
it as well. They will be facing off against the 10 seed Oregon.
Man, talk about Virginia, a team that almost did a Virginia. Almost like it seems like every year Virginia gets to the tournament
that 116
and chokes.
They were a little shaky.
They were a little shaky.
They were a little shaky.
They were very shaky
Yeah.
at first half.
But it's like, the good teams figure out a way to win. And they got things in sync and they came back and made it happen.
Hey, the difference is DeAndre Hunter. I mean, DeAndre Hunter makes all the difference. He was missing last year, and when that 16 seed jumped up, they just did not have somebody who could just go get a bucket.
Right.
And had that
Right.
get a bucket guy. Somebody that the other team just couldn't stop.
Now.
And I think that
Right.
was what happened. Where this year you had DeAndre Hunter,
Right.
and talent, rises to the top.
Right.
A lot of times, and he was just basically able to go out and get his.
And look, all of that is great. The men's tournament going great. Wonderful. Congratulations. Kentucky, Virginia, Duke, North Carolina, whoever.
Absolutely.
But when it comes to this women's tournament.
Man, hold on. No, I'm not going to.
Wait. Hey,
you're going too fast. You're going too fast.
I ain't never going too fast when it comes time to talk about this city.
You think you slick.
No.
We're trying to pass over.
No, we're not.
What happened with the university?
We're going to give these ladies some credit.
I'm going to give the ladies credit.
Why they always got to wait till last? Why they always got to wait till last?
They don't have to wait till last.
We should have kicked off the show talking about the lady cards.
You say the best for last.
So, yeah, we're going to get
We'll say the best for last.
Bad game. That was a terrible game.
It was a terrible game. I agree.
We got to give these people what they want.
They lost to Richard Pitino.
Yes, they did.
This guy named Rick Pitino.
Yes.
Y'all know.
I heard Rick Pitino was there with a disguise on.
Really and truthfully, I think the only people that really cared about
that's why they put me out of that group. I posted that picture. I shared that post. That's why they put me out of that group. The one with him with the disguise. They put me out. The Louisville Cardinals fan zone or something.
The Louisville Cardinals, unfortunately, that season came to an end. I still think that the season for Chris Mack, his first year, was a result to take that.
I don't either.
Other than to say that they needed to bring in, and they will be bringing in, A, more talent, and B, some dogs. And, I always talk about dogs. And when you talk about dogs, you talk about guys who are just ultra competitive, guys that are going to go out and just refuse to lose. And I think that's something that Louisville needs. And I think they're going to get an injection of that.
Now, who are some of these people that you're speaking of?
No, okay, time out. I'm gonna back it up. And I'm going to have to agree with ill will.
Thank you.
This was Louisville played a horrible game.
It was a bad game.
I'm gonna be honest. Louisville played a horrible game.
They just kind of went through the motions. They didn't have tournament intensity.
There's no intensity.
Yeah.
The body language was of a team that was really just going through the motions. Like, we're here, we're not really excited. I mean, even Darius Perry gave an interview. And at the end of the interview, he was like, well, towards the end of the game, when we were down by 16, we saw everything slip away, then we started to play hard. I'm like, why would you wait till you're down by 16 points to play hard? This is like one and done. You play hard the whole game.
Well, yeah, I mean,
you don't start the end of the game like, we're down by 16.
Well, look,
let's hustle. I mean, CC.
Here's the thing.
Christian Cunningham.
Here's the thing. I'm gonna explain it all
played
to you.
hard the whole game. Everybody else didn't show up.
When somebody shows you who they are, believe them. We've all heard that before, right?
Absolutely.
We saw no. Louisville showed us this about this, and they didn't let them off the hook. Yeah. Louisville showed us who they were.
No doubt.
In the
several
mortal
games
words,
ago.
I'm gonna say this in the mortal words of MC8, the great poet himself. The killers have no heart.
That ain't what he said, but I'll take it.
Yeah, I had to clean it up.
It's tough, and you know what? Sometimes I don't think you can build that sense of urgency and just that edge into somebody. I think that Coach Chris Mack, we heard what he thought of their effort. When they went up and lost to Boston College. We saw what he said on the
or lack thereof effort.
And so we understand that this was not a group of kids that Coach Mack recruited, and I feel that he did the most with them that I thought he could have.
He did. I'll give him that.
Much more.
How many wins did they have?
21 wins.
21. There's only one more than David Pageant. I still say David Pageant should have got to that tournament last year. Y'all know how I feel about that.
Well, you gotta be.
So Chris Mack wins one extra game. Everybody's all on his strap. Well, David Pageant wins 20 games and put a run amount of time.
He did go on the road and beat a number one seed.
And he went on.
David Pageant didn't do that.
David Pageant went on the road and beat a ranked team.
Yeah. So I mean,
I'm just saying, dude.
3 ranked teams.
Dude, I don't care.
That's a big difference.
Yeah, that's true.
He also got dog walked in the first round of the tournament.
I mean, it was tough, but you know what? It was a great season. I'm excited because we, of course, have the McDonald's All-American game coming up on Wednesday. Samuel Williamson in the very first practices today showed great. Of course, Samuel Williamson, the young man out of Texas, will be joining Louisville next year as part of the.
I heard he decommitted after that game the other day.
Super Six.
They said he decommitted after that game the other
day. They're going to be ready. I'm very excited about the future of the program. It was a tough loss. Louisville fans, I think, got a little overexcited. No.
Time out.
No, Chris Mack said he needs some ruthless dudes that's willing to smack boys on toddlers. He said that's what kind of guys he needs. He needs some guys that's willing to smack boys on some preschoolers.
He needs some assassins. But you know what? I'm not going to say the Louisville fans go overhyped. This team, I think, got scared of their success. A lot of times what people say is that what people fear the most is not failure. People fear success the most. And I think this team beat North Carolina. They beat Michigan State. They got excited. They got up there. And then it was like, man, what happened? And then they just lost it. And then losing to Duke the way they did, I think really just like took their heart out.
I mean, I don't think it was that. I just think that as you get more film and more tape on somebody, you start to understand what their tendencies are. Nobody knew who any of these kids were. They didn't know who Kristen Cunningham was. They really didn't have a lot of good film on what Dwayne Sutton was doing. Jordan Ward was just now, becoming a starter and being a go-to guy. So early in the season, you're able to pull those upsets when you don't have a good scouting report. By February, that was gone. Everybody knew who this team was. Everybody knew what their tendencies were. And this team, unfortunately, did not have enough talent to be able to take, okay, now we're defending him this way. Let's see what your counter is. Louisville just never had a counter to the good defense.
We had B.J. King.
I think it was the scouting.
We had Darius Perry.
I mean,
stop, dude. Stop.
I'm saying.
Like I said, I would have been running McMahon.
Job for what they had.
I would have been running McMahon off picks all season.
No,
especially in that last game, you ain't had nothing to lose. They come out of the halftime trying to press when you ain't been pressing all season. Dude, you got to be in some incredible shape to run a press, and that it looks so bad. They press for like 2 plays.
I mean, if that's not who you do as a team,
no,
what you do as a team, and that's not what you practice, it's very tough.
Oh gosh, yes, because you got to have the lungs for that, man. That takes a lot of energy out of you.
You got to have the personnel.
But you know what? They kind of switch subjects.
Yes.
The lady cards.
What do you think about your Kentucky Wildcats? Hold
on. Let me ask y'all a question. I'm being serious. If the men's team was doing what the women's team were doing right now, would we skip over them? Would we be saving that for later in the segment? Please, just answer honestly, please. I mean, or would we not have came out the gate swinging on that?
You know why? Well, you know why I'm going to say nobody's paying no attention to that? Because the one seeds in the women's tournament never even get challenged until the Elite Eight. So, I mean, the women took.
I'm just saying, let's give them some credit.
They're going to blow those teams out.
Like, okay, but can we congratulate them?
Yeah, we can.
Can we congratulate? I'm just saying, we will. We're going to start a show and not say nothing about it.
You know what?
Honestly, win those games by average.
I'm just saying, let's give the women's team some.
They won.
I mean, we'll give them some credit. Let's be honest. So this women's basketball.
I tell you what,
the top 4 seeds almost always advance to the Final Four.
Exactly.
Almost always.
Exactly. I mean,
the top 2 seeds always go to the Final Four.
But the thing is, Louisville is not always one of the top 4 seeds.
We have been the past couple of years.
I mean,
so let's give them some. Never mind, dude. Never mind.
They in the Sweet 16. I congratulate them. That was Asia Durr's last game at home. She's brought a lot to the city. She's
thank you, Asia.
She was the last of that great group of players to come through. When you talk about Lamar Jackson, Donovan Mitchell, Asia Durr.
Don't say that. Don't say that. Say she was the last one we've seen to this point.
I'm talking about that fraternity because that group of players
all came in together,
literally,
right
at the same time was ridiculous.
Yes, that's true.
They all were there.
That's true.
So she's the last one of that. One of the greatest Cardinals of all time. So
maybe not the last.
I give them credit. They're moving on.
New, improved.
They're heading up to Albany, New York. They're going to have.
Never mind. Y'all don't get it.
At home.
So,
pretty much a home game for Connecticut.
Y'all didn't pick up on my Carlito Way reference. Y'all didn't get it.
I like it.
Well, maybe not the last. New, improved Asia Durr.
But Haven, to discuss what was going to be your question about Kentucky basketball?
Do you think?
Gosh, I can't believe
the greatness that is the heart of the team, P.J. Washington. Will he be back in time for Kentucky's game against Houston?
Nobody cares. He was on a knee scooter leaving the game the other day. He's not playing.
I'm going to put it like this.
Put it like that.
If the women go to the championship, neither one of y'all invited.
No.
Neither one of y'all. Y'all going to skip over them to talk about UK. I can't believe this, dude.
I just gave them their props. Do you even know who the women are playing in the Sweet 16?
Nope.
They're exactly my point.
It don't matter.
So congratulations.
I can still root for them.
You can root for them. We still root for them.
Okay. All right. Let's talk about UK. I'm sure that's what everybody here wants to hear about.
When it comes to P.J. Washington and what's going on with UK, I give them credit. They found a way to beat Wofford, 62-56.
Who do they face next?
They're coming out.
Houston.
Kelvin Sampson, the former Indiana coach, one of the best coaches in the country, in my opinion. They will be facing off against Kelvin Sampson and the Houston Cougars. This is going to be a very difficult game because I'm going to tell anybody who's expecting P.J. Washington to come back, P.J. Washington's done for the season. You don't put a hard cast on somebody's foot.
Yeah,
that's something
no,
broken.
for real. He was on a knee scooter, and I've
So,
been on one of those before.
It was fine when he
That's
was in the
not
walking
that's
boot.
not a short term thing.
It was fine when he was in the walking boot, but brother was in a hard cast.
Right.
You in a hard cast, you in there for at least 3 or 4 weeks.
At least. Usually it's 4 to 6.
Yeah. So, I mean, that's a very short turnaround. So, in my opinion, I think that PJ is done.
Oh, wow.
I think that Kentucky's going to have to go on without them. And I think that this Houston Cougars team, this is going to be a toss-up for Kentucky going into that game.
Kentucky without PJ will be lucky to make it to Elite Eight.
Yeah.
And then they'll get blown out by North Carolina.
Houston can beat Kentucky. I'm here to tell you that. That is a legit, serious concern. So we'll have to see what happens.
I'm going to say this, like, with PJ, I think Kentucky easily beats Houston.
Yes.
And then it's going to be a game against North Carolina. But,
man, I don't know. North Carolina, boy, they frogged up something terrible earlier in the season against UK. Yeah, they look god-awful in that game.
But the team's different now.
They were falling on the floor, and just it was an ugly game, man. They were the 9th-ranked team in the country and came out and laid an egg.
Between Kentucky, North Carolina now and what they were back when they played in December is Kobe White. Kobe White, a freshman, has gone from a kid who had good games here and there to the best player on the team. The young man was absolutely electric and has been since mid-February.
Boogie.
And I think that the way he's playing right now, if you go back
and
look
get
at
it,
Kobe White's he was about 6 points, a couple of assists, a lot of fouls, didn't really do anything. Kid's playing on a whole other level now. Like he's literally looking like one of the best players in college basketball. For a lot of people that aren't paying attention to him, there's a lot of upperclassmen on that team. But Kobe White's been outstanding. So I think that's the biggest difference. So if Kentucky and North Carolina do play again, right now, especially without P.J. Washington, I think North Carolina wins that game by 20.
Good. That's what we want, right?
I mean, I want to see the best teams win. So if it's Kentucky and they find a way to win it, I'm going to congratulate them. It's like Duke.
Well,
Everybody was hoping Duke would lose yesterday. Taco Fall. In UCF, they were right there. They had
almost Taco put out a statement. He put out a statement the day before the game.
Yeah, he said that Zion was not going to
dunk on him.
And guess what? Zion did not dunk on him.
Yeah,
but
there
Zion
you go.
did get the and one that led to the tip back that led to the loss.
Yeah.
So
and horrible blocking out by UCF.
I'm just saying.
Horrible blocking out.
Just got shoved underneath the basket.
You know what? I've seen it a couple of times.
It was kind of soft.
Actually, I've seen it a couple of times. He wasn't really pushed all that hard. He was just kind of. I mean, the man has given his position. Well, he got to be tougher than that.
The thing they don't talk about is the fact that not only was R.J. Barrett right there to get the rebound, Javin Delarier was right next to him.
Yeah, you like 5 dudes to get that rebound.
The UCF kids both got shoved.
Yes, indeed.
You got to be a little tougher than that.
You got to be a lot tougher than that.
So
because
Duke got the win. They held on. Zion Mania goes on for another week. The NCAA excited.
The Zion cam.
Hey, I'm telling you, like the NCAA wants Zion Williamson in the Final Four.
You think?
Because they can sell advertising for more than the Super Bowl.
Right. And folks, we are jumping here tonight at the Tunaville Tavern on the corner of First and Oak. Enter on the Oak Street side. Check out some main events wings featuring the Jerker Q sauce.
Right, man. 291 is in the
291 in the building. Shout out your crew. Shout out 291. 291 in the house.
Everybody who's coming in.
We got Jerry Jones over there, Victor Cole.
That's right.
Raise your hand.
No, we got a packed house in here tonight. Absolutely. We got a couple more special guests that are going to be joining us.
That's right. We're going to be bringing up our very first special guest of the night right after this break.
Yes, indeed.
Anybody who has any comments, thoughts about anything about the NCAA tournament, is it going to be all 4-1 seeds that make it to the Final Four? Are they going to be heading up to Minneapolis? I don't know.
Most likely.
Let me know.
Dude, and look, I know this is crazy, dude.
What's crazy?
I have a University of Kentucky diploma hanging on my wall, and I swear,
you hate them,
dude. I cannot stand. The whole time I was there, I hated that place.
He is hateful.
And no. Let me say this. This is part of my healing process. Not only do I hate UK, I hate the city of Lexington. The last time I left Lexington, I was cussing in my rearview mirror.
The hate runs deep.
I couldn't wait to get away from that place, man. I'm telling you, man. That place it's got a strange vibe to it, man. I'm serious, man. Y'all can say I'm lightweight, not joking.
So if anybody else has any issues with the city of Lexington as well as
let us know.
Hey, I heard that they're planning on tearing it down.
turn down what?
Lexington.
Athens to the south.
They got on the demolition list.
That's wrong. But if you have any thoughts,
They're one
of course,
skyscraper.
leave your comments at the bottom of the screen. Make sure you check out everything that goes on with the Main Event Sports Show. Just go check out maineventsports101.com. You can also check us out. Download the app. Just search keyword Main Event Sports. That's at the iPhone or the Google Play App Store. Check out everything that we're doing. All our live broadcasts.
The Patreon app. You can go on the Patreon app.
Go to the Patreon
and you can
app.
donate. Donations.
Sports show and everything that we do there. Anything that we're doing. We appreciate the support. We appreciate these great organizations like 291 that come out supporting, a part of what we do as the Main Event Sports Show, because we always understand that it's about more than just talk.
Yes, indeed.
So we try to do that. So Rashawn, hey, Will, we're going to hit this first time out.
Hit this first break, son.
Much more. All right. Hey,
all right.
Myers, and like we always like to end every
segment without any struggle.
There is no
progress.
Peace.